Coach, I want you to think back to last summer. You took over the program in August. What was the first thing you did as head coach?
Really, first thing when I got hired on a Friday, and there was John Pepper Memorial Invitational at West Jenny High School that Saturday. So actually, the first thing I did is I drove up to campus after I got the phone call, and I grabbed a T-shirt from the athletic director and really just tried to hit the ground running at a recruiting event that next Saturday. Looking at our roster. The biggest thing for me is we have some talent, but we just have such a small roster size that the first thing that my priority was is just try and get started on that recruiting class and really get some bodies into this team.
What do you look for? When you're out recruiting and you're scouting guys, what do you look for?
I really look for a blue-collar type mentality. You can find great athletes, but really one of those guys that's willing to do it all. Doesn't have the ego that they want to score the goals, but willing to do all the little things that really help a team go. I think when you're building a team, those role players, those glue guys, those tough blue-collar type players are what's going to make you a great team, not necessarily the studs that put up a ton of points. You can find guys that shoot really hard, but unless you have someone to get them the ball, they're not going to be great for you.
When you spoke to your team for the first time, what'd you say to the guys?
I really just tried to talk with them about what we wanted to do here. The biggest thing for me is I'm real big on family, especially with a team that's developing and growing. We're going to take our lumps, whether that's in games or in practice, but we need to be there for each other. We really need to support each other. That's the one thing I've really been impressed and proud of this team about is their ability to really buy into that family atmosphere, buy into that we're there to support each other through everything. And, I think that's been helpful for all of us, including myself with the transition into this team.
Wells College men's lacrosse coach Andrew Daly is my guest on BTL. The season opener for the Express is this Saturday with the team hosting Houghton. Your previous stop, Coach, was Oneonta, where you're an assistant. You coached just about every facet of lacrosse there. You were the offensive coordinator, you trained goalies, you trained the face-off specialist. What do you feel is your specialty when it comes to coaching?
Yeah, I think I was really lucky at Oneonta. Coach Dan Mahar was a great mentor to me. He really allowed me to take on whatever I wanted to take on. There's a lot of head coaches that, really wouldn't allow someone to do that, and it's really prepared me in going forward to try and be a head coach. Personally, I love working with goalies. I think the goalie group mentality and that type of the personalities of the goalies are really fun. They're great to get to know. At heart, I played offense, and I was an offensive player, but I've been lucky enough to work with some defense. Here at Wells right now, I'm actually running our defense, and I have an assistant coach, Cody Hoos, who's running our offense. I think my biggest attribute that I bring is really trying to develop and instill fundamentals on both sides of the ball. If you want to get into real intricacies of offense and defense, I can help with that, but I think the biggest attribute I have specifically with this Wells College team is just trying to develop some of those basic fundamentals of approach to the ball, making sure that our lacrosse IQ is up and that type of process of really getting to where we need to go.
Last season for your team, for Wells College, it was a record-breaking campaign. 4 wins, the highest total in school history, but clearly, with just 4 wins, there's still room for growth. What goals have you set for the program for this season, your first?
Yeah, it's kind of a tough question. It's coming in, and we returned a lot of the same players that we had last year, so you always want to try and build off of the success from the previous season. But we also lost a lot of players, that went from about a 23-man roster down to a 16-man roster. So that obviously adds in some different problems and issues that we have to get over. But, certainly I think we want to build on last year. We don't want to set the goal at 4 wins. We want to try and surpass that. We have a tougher out-of-conference schedule this year. We added Benedictine. We added Oneonta. We have SUNY Geneseo. We have Houghton still on there. We have SUNY Canton still on there. But we certainly upped our out-of-conference schedule a little bit. Moravian's a first-year program that we added, but they're 3-0 right now. So the wins are going to be a little harder to find, but I certainly think with the way these guys play and their commitment to the game and to this team, I think for my goal certainly is to try and, get to where we were last year and hopefully surpass it.
How do you feel the team is coming together in the preseason?
I think they're a really tight-knit group. I think they're there for each other, and every time I challenge them, they step up to the challenge, which I really am proud of. I'm not always the nicest guy in the field, but they appreciate that I'm pushing them to try and get the most out of them, which is great from a coaching standpoint. It makes coming to work a whole lot more fun when if you're going to push these guys that they're going to answer the bell and really come and continue to compete, which is a big priority for me, is trying to amp up the competition, really get these guys getting after each other, and get them into that game-like atmosphere.
Andrew Daly, head coach of the Wells College men's lacrosse team. You have 2 returning all-conference players. You mentioned that you're returning some top performers, sophomore Alex Milliken and junior Connor Jansen. But what about the newcomers, of the new guys that you have joining this team and getting ready to play this year? Who do you expect to be early contributors?
We have some of the younger guys from last year that will help contribute to some of the freshmen. Tanner Minjan is going to come help out. He's playing some midfield as opposed to attack last year. Aaron Heisey was our 3rd leading scorer as a freshman last year. He'll be playing the midfield. Brian Butner got moved up to midfield from attack too. And then we have a freshman, Ben Posesnik, who is going to be starting at close defense for us. And, he's a freshman out of Marcellus area, so pretty local. And, he came in and he was a little hesitant. I think once his confidence started to go, when he got really engulfed in this team, his ability on the field has just blossomed to a degree that I didn't expect to happen this quickly. A little bit of confidence went a long way with him, and he's become a real vocal leader on the defense and a real ground ball machine. So I think, he'll be our biggest contributor out of the freshmen, and then obviously some of those other guys that were freshmen last year will step up into bigger roles this year.
So, Coach, your first game is Saturday, hosting Houghton. It's not only the first game of your season, but also the first men's lacrosse game to be played at the new artificial turf facility. What do you think of the new turf field?
I love it up there. It's something when you go up there, when I used to bring recruits up and it was starting to be built, it was this really grand-looking place. And I'd turn and I'd chuckle and say, I almost hope they don't finish it because it looks so great right now. But, now that it's finished, it's such a huge space for us. It's something unlike I've never seen in the sense that it has baseball space, it has softball space, it has the soccer lacrosse space. If we want to split the field up, if we want to go do something on another area, we just have so much ability to really be creative in how we use that space. I'm really excited to get up there and play. I know the guys are too. They've been ecstatic all year to just get up there and be playing. I know last year with the weather and the grass, they only got outside a handful of times before, their first game, and I think they only got outside a total of like 10 or 11 times the whole season because of the weather. So I know the players are more than excited to get out and play on it as well too.
Coach, best of luck as you start your first season as head coach of Wells College on Saturday. Best of luck. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.